So welcome to 90 and 90. I have a very special guest, number 8, Mr. Rupert Gibson Moore. Welcome, Rupert, to the 90 and 90. So lovely to see you. And you're over there in Ubud in Bali, which is pretty special. So it's my morning time here. It's your afternoon time. I can see that glorious sunshine in the background. Look at that. It looks pretty special, hey?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, looks it. It's a pleasure to have this chat with you today. And this title is "Life is My Medicine." And yeah, that sounds very, very mysterious and lovely. And I want to hear a little bit more about where that title came from.
So I could share about that. I've been going to a few men's circles here in Ubud, and it was something that came up at the end of one of the sharings for me. And a lot of men were sharing about how much trouble they'd got themselves in, how much difficulty, how many relationships they split up from. Like, you can imagine. And there was some sharing called back from one brother, and it just came through to me that I feel so grateful for life and how it has shown me that however tough it gets or however good it gets, whichever which way, I see it all as medicine. And it was something that I shared with him, and he started to cry, and it was just a really beautiful moment.
Wow.
And I realized that was actually something that was like a really nice way to describe the whole of philosophy of life.
Yeah, life is my medicine. I love that. And I love this, like the men's circle thing. You know, I've heard more of that sort of recently, that there's a friend of mine went on a retreat called the man behind the mask. And it was the same thing. And they were all kind of naughty boys, you know, like, all sort of naughty boys turned good boys, that kind of, that had a real life full of experience, but they'd almost, whatever you want to call it, woken up or come home to who they truly were, or, you know, realized that they didn't need to, I don't know, act so much in their ego or blah blah blah, whatever it was. And that's so lovely for me, this sort of the men's circle thing. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's really time, isn't it? I think there's been, you know, it's very normal to come across a women's circle. They're happening all over the place all the time. And maybe the men's circle experience is starting to become more popular. When I look at the average consensus demographic, is it, of men and women that turn up to retreats, it's 80% women, you know? So I've never really worked out why that is, but I'm sure there's many potential reasons for it. But it definitely is showing up. More and more men are coming to the circle, and there's such a medicine. It's so beautiful. Just sit together. You can all see each other equally. No one is stronger, or everyone is heard and everyone is seen. It's just so beautiful. I love it.
That's so great. It's so great. I remember I first met you. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what year, but it must have been 2014 or 2015, something like that, 2016 even. But it was Lisa Ken's non-duality retreat down in Hidden Paradise in Spain. And, you know, and I was so impressed with the space that you had built there and put together, you guys. Like incredible. It blew me. I remember it blew me away that all this had been sort of made by.
It's so kind of you, because you were arriving as one of the first guests, and I can remember, I think we put you in a caravan. Is that not right?
Yeah,
you were just the best guest. You loved it, you know.
Yeah.
So pleased to have you as a guest.
Oh.
Always will be.
That it was a magical time. And, you know, I suppose that back then I had sort of come across an understanding in about 2012, commonly known as the inside out understanding, or the 3 principles. And that kind of had a huge transformation for me. And it was, you know, and that was kind of what, I don't know, opened me up to things that I had always maybe had a sense about, but hadn't really had a language to put to it. and doing the retreats and reading the books. And I remember, meeting Lisa Cairns, or meeting her online, if you like watching a YouTube video of her, and kind of hearing something. She was telling a story that I had thought was my story. Like this story, she was telling exactly like it's a story from my childhood. And I was like, oh my goodness, that was never my story. It was never just my story. And I got really intrigued with Lisa. And that's what led me to come down and do a retreat hosted with you guys. And that retreat was so special that I remember us sort of saying, right, I want to host a retreat here. And that's what we did, right? And then we did that. We had 3 retreats down there. And so it's funny, isn't it, that even, getting to know you isn't that we spent that amount of time, particularly a long amount of time together, if you look at it over years, it's weeks that we've spent, or time communication. But it's that thing when you meet somebody and it's special, right? And it's super special, and that's what we call connection, and that's what we call moving forward, and that's what we see, these sort of like-minded souls. I don't know, I guess you call it like a paradigm shift that's happening, where people are looking in this direction and seeing, I don't know what you're pointing to with Life is My Medicine, but that's what I hear. You're pointing to experience.
I guess pointing for me was that everything that's coming at us, I'm welcoming, whether it be hard to swallow or not, because there is always, having got this grey, there is always be a very clear message in everything that's coming at me, and it's growing wiser, if that's the best way to say it. Well, it's all a teaching.
Yeah.
So using it all as a way to listen from here, and using it all as a way to grow.
And it's so lovely, isn't it? And I think sometimes, this is just what I see personally for me, but sometimes I think that we miss some of the human experiences that come our way because we, a word we use a lot, which is like resistance. We resist being in the full kind of flow of experience because we believe that we're meant to act or behave a certain way in order to be good, or to be spiritual, or to be enlightened, or to be whatever. And I think we miss the point that it's all of it. That life is experience, and we know when something is serving us well, or we know when we are serving the world well, because it feels good.
Yeah, and all of life aligns to support you. That's what I've noticed, that when it's all flowing, that's when it's all just completely aligned, and the service is happening, and all your visions are being realized. Every light seems to be green. I mean, that's how it's worked for me so far.
It's so lovely. It is a bit like, I think one of the most pivotal times in my life is when I realized that life is my soulmate. Like life is my insurance.
Yeah. Trust in insurance.
We've got the best life insurance in the world, and it's called life. It's called the happening. What's just happening?
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
And life is beautiful, right? When we fully embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not that it is bad or ugly, but we've kind of labelled it that because it's.
Feel it.
Yeah. So, you've had, this whole host of meeting different people from all over the world, haven't you?
Yeah.
You yourself now are over there in Bali. Where are you originally from, Rupert?
Originally from London.
From London. So your journey started and off you went. And
there's been 25 years on the side of a mountain in Spain, so origins, I'm not really sure.
Yeah. And it's like the wanderlust, right? We don't know where it's going to take us. Life's going to take us.
Oh.
We just don't know. And there's something beautiful in that. There's something beautiful in that when we don't put up the resistance of and I always say nothing shocks me. I talked about this the other day, but then it's like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I feel you. Here in Ubud, I feel you. I hear what. Yeah.
Yeah. So this medicine of life, life is my medicine. Um, you know, if there was sort of anybody who's watching this video and is feeling at the moment a little bit kind of, I don't know, confused or not knowing where they're going, or um, knowing that they they feel like they should be they should be more in the flow of life, but are feeling they're in that sort of resistance, you know, understanding that life is my medicine. What was there anything else that you can, is there anything else that you can share that you points
I
them?
think behind life is my medicine, there is this container of trust. So that doesn't really mean a lot, life is medicine, if you can't really trust that and trust life and trust that it's all fine plan, however hard it gets. And that's the hardest time to actually swallow that and believe that and know that, is when it's really difficult. So I feel trust life.
And there's something, isn't there, when we're in trust, we don't have so much thinking about it. So we don't have so much thinking about it, which means that we really fully embrace that opportunity. We fully embrace the present moment.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
and there's something about, for me, embracing that comes with an understanding. So I guess you would have taken bits of all these different teachers you've met, and you would have met, all sorts of because you've the whole array, right, from non-duality to plant medicine to, I mean,
The latest neo tantra, that it all seems to pass through, and I noticed there seems to be like trends,
yeah,
flow that comes to Hidden Paradise at different times. And also a really interesting thing is when the non-duality flow was coming through Hidden Paradise, the teachers weren't necessarily coordinating any of their work together, and yet their work would evolve at a similar uh, pointing, and I would watch it happening.
yeah,
It was really interesting. I don't know how much depth we go into, but I was just wanted to point that out, that teachers would come through with a similar pointing, each year evolving in a similar way, yet not communicating together.
yeah,
So it's like the consciousness, divine consciousness is calling in this teaching.
yeah.
And
Yeah. And I think there's something, or this is how I see it anyway. When we're pointing to truth, we don't need to do too much pointing. Right? It's like it's just a nudge.
mm,
And once people are nudged in that direction, they kind of, then that takes over it. So it really is a kind of little tap on the shoulder or a little nudge.
it'll
And
remind.
sorry, Rupert, say that again.
Yeah.
It's, and that's more powerful, because that's the kind of less is more. That's the riddle. That's the kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm here to tell you there's nothing to tell you kind of thing, I mean,
And someone is actually living it.
yeah,
There's one thing reading it out of a book. There's a whole other thing experiencing someone in the flesh who's actually in presence, in truth, walking, breathing, that they preach or teach or share, however you want to
yeah,
use
yeah,
the word.
yeah.
Another thing, seeing it walking.
And that is so true, because I think when I always say to people, if there's something more that you want out of life, like you want more peace, or you want more calm, or you want more mojo, or you want more liveliness, or then and you're looking to work with somebody or do a retreat with somebody, then look for somebody who's showing that, look for somebody that's displaying that. If you want more happiness, choose a happy person, and if you want more peace, then choose the peaceful, the peaceful soul, because that is what we're attracted to. Seeing something in somebody else that we maybe we like, that we want a bit more of that ourselves, or reminds us of who we used to be. you know,
Yeah.
like, oh, I used to be like, I hear people saying that I'm quite lively. So I hear sometimes people say, I used to be like you. And, you know, and I'm like, well, you've still got that in you. Right? You've
Sure.
still got that in you. It's just been covered up with like all this other stuff, you know, all this other thinking and beliefs and blah, 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 the story. So, you know, that's, I think it's beautiful. And I wish you the best of luck in Bali, and yeah, I don't know how long you're planning to be there or what your plans are, but enjoy every moment.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
Enjoy every moment and go shine your light and shine
Yeah,
your beauty. And
pleasure to talk to you, my dear.
you too. You're a very special guy, Rupert, and you know, I mean that. Yeah, you hold a special place in my heart, and just yes, yeah, go be and go live and go have as many experiences as you can, as all of us. Yeah. So lots and lots of love to you. Thank you very
Yeah,
much. Life is my medicine. I'm gonna remember that. That's a nice one. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Love, sweetheart. I'm gonna say cheerio. Bye.
yeah.
Bye, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this chat. Bye bye.